Hello everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel. It is your girl, Goddess of Love and Truth Reacts, coming to you with another video. Yes, I know it's been a minute since we had an upload, but I wanted to come and give you guys this reaction to this video, not too long uploaded. This video is an update about the Braxton family / the Siratt family. In regards to Traci Braxton and her husband, Mr. Siratt. So the last thing that I believe the last thing that I went over in regards to Traci was where we showed the will. And I referred you guys to the channel that had all the pages to the will. I just showed you guys a little bit of the will, where Traci did say that she wanted to have a funeral and she left it up to her husband and her son. So it was kind of unfair for her sisters to try to take over. And then after Traci passed, they kind of like just pushed her husband out. So in this video that we're going to watch, the funeral director is speaking out. She was also part of the family. She married into the Braxton family. I don't believe she's still married to the person now. She's going to mention that. But yeah, she was married into the family, and Traci even spoke to her before she passed, let her know about her cancer and let her know that she wanted to handle everything. So let's get into the video. Oh, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button, click that bell notification for all so that you never miss an upload. If you are returning, thank you again for joining. And make sure you all like and share the video. My apologies, I didn't welcome you guys back to the channel. I probably did, but I done forgot. Y'all, I be so... My mind be so bombarded right now, be having so much going on. So I apologize, but let's get into it. I want to make sure that y'all know that y'all are welcome, okay? And hit that subscribe button so that we can get in the algorithm with YouTube and remain in it. All right, let's get into the video.
Day, and I'm thankful that she's here with us. Hello, Shiva, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, how you connect to the family.
Yes, hi, Kevin. Yes, my name's Shiva. I am a licensed funeral director. I've been licensed since 2001, giving away my age here. But in the later years, I kind of transitioned from an at-need director to a pre-need director, meaning the difference between an at-need versus a pre-need is at-need is at the time of death and pre-need would be prior to death. And I initially met the Braxton family or came in connection with them. I don't know exactly the date, but I'll say around 95, 96. I dated into the family. And so as a licensed funeral director, I handled, several Braxton funeral services starting in year 2000. So they kind of, it's just not all of them, of course, but for some of the family members, they have reached out to me to handle certain services for them.
I actually do recall that, Shiva, and that's what made me feel real comfortable with you, but it was still an awkward time for me, and I think you helped me definitely get through the process in a very unique and beautiful way, and I'm still thankful for it. One thing, when you came to me, you assured me that you had a very strong conversation with Traci prior to us connecting. And I know you had reached out to me a couple of times, and I finally gave in. And the conversation, if you're okay with it, I would definitely like to hear something that, you basically already went over with me and gave me a comfortable space to believe in you.
Absolutely. So, I back in it was either late December of 21 or early January of 22. I received a call from Traci. She told me the devastating news that she was sick with cancer and she wasn't going to be able to beat it. And it was a devastating call. I felt for Traci. I don't know if you remember, Kevin, or not, but many, many moons ago, I actually came to your house a couple of times with, my ex, but that was a long time ago. But Traci, was just very joyful and jovial. And even in that conversation, with it being so difficult, she was still in good spirits. And she basically told me that she wanted me to handle everything from start to finish. And mind you, I had already transitioned my career into the pre-need side. So what typically would have happened was I would have set up the pre-arrangements and then transferred.
Okay, so let's just pause it right there. So Traci did mention that she wanted to have a funeral. She said that she didn't want people performing or singing, and she didn't want her sorority to do something that they always do. I think her sororities or the Eastern Stars that she was a part of. I can't remember exactly what it was. I mentioned it on the last video. So if you haven't watched the last video, make sure you go and watch that about me showing and speaking about the will that Traci had. But she said that she didn't want all of that extra stuff going on at her funeral, but she did say that she wanted a funeral. And so the Braxton sisters, they pretty much overstepped their boundary. They were saying that Kevin, that her husband shouldn't have had a funeral. She didn't want to have a funeral, this, that. And then they turned around and did their own thing after he had the funeral for her. And they didn't even go to her funeral, which is so crazy. Of her family, I believe her dad and her brother was the only two that went to her funeral that her son and her husband had. It was just so sad. And when Traci was living, they treated her bad. And to me, I feel like they just treated her bad as well after she passed also. And that's why I don't watch the Braxton Family Values or whatever their new show is. When Traci used to be on there, that was the only reason I watched it, because I love Traci. I hated how they treated her, though. They would gang up on her. Tony wouldn't. Tony would just sit there and let it happen. She wouldn't gang up on her, but she would never say anything. She'd just let it happen. But anyway, let's get back into the video. And I'm glad that the funeral director is speaking out, because she's also confirming that Traci did want to have a funeral. All right, let's get back into it, guys.
With Traci, that wasn't the case. Traci told me that she did not want a whole lot of people to see her. She wanted me to stay with her and to do everything from start to finish. So when I asked her, exactly what she wanted, she told me that she did want a viewing, but only if her son and her husband gave approval to say that she looked good. And so she said she wanted to also have maybe something else without her body present, for other people in the public that loved her and wanted to celebrate her. And so I honest to God, Kevin, when I worked on Traci, I remember after I did the initial preparation and I was doing her makeup, and I remember talking to you, and you told me that you would prefer for her dreads to be shown. I had never twisted a dread in my life. And I retwisted her dreads, and then I styled them, and her makeup, I would walk away and I would come back. I would walk away and come back. I'm not even kidding. I was there for probably 2.5 hours just doing that because, you know, as a professional, and especially with her putting that type of task on me, that responsibility on me, I wanted to make sure she was perfect. And the fact that she even reached out to me meant the world to me. The absolute world to me, that she would even think that I would be able to do her justice. And so it was honestly, it was one of the most thoughtful, most caring things that anyone had ever done for me in my career. To say, Sheba, I want you to handle me from start to finish. And
yeah, it's so sad. And look at her husband. He's trying to keep from crying, just, you know, hearing the remembrance and the things that Traci was saying to this lady about what she wanted. And he's trying his best to keep from crying. Oh, it's so sad. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking to him because then I will be crying. You know, he missed his wife, you know, and I just hate that her family treated her the way that they treated her while she was living, and they treated her husband bad as well because he always had her back. He had her back to the fullest against them. Yeah, they had their own stuff that they went through or whatever, but it wasn't broadcasted like all on the TV or whatever. But at the end of the day, when her own family would turn their back on her or gang up against her, he was the only one that stood by her side. And the only reason they treated Traci like that is because Traci accepted her father's new wife. The rest of the Braxton sisters, and of course the mama, didn't like the dad, don't like the wife. They'll tolerate the dad, but they didn't want the wife coming around. They didn't want to go around the wife. And being that Traci would go around the wife, his new wife, and allow her son to be around his new wife and, you know, have affiliation with the wife, they couldn't stand that. So they treated Traci bad. And that's just messed up. Like, that's her stepmom, that's her dad. And if her dad loved that woman and married that woman, hey, it is what it is. That's what they got to do with it. Y'all can still love your mom and love your dad, even though they're not together anymore. Like, get off the gas. But anyway, let's get back into it.
By her, I wanted to do good for you and little Kevin and the family and close friends. And if I have nothing else, Kevin, I have my integrity. And part of the reason why I do specialize in pre-planning now is because it's upholding the wishes of that person.
Right.
And that's what I wanted to do for Traci. I just wanted to do what she asked me to do. I don't know about any other conversation. She very well could have said something different to other people. All I can speak for is what she said to me. And I hope that nobody takes this out of out of what I'm actually stating. I didn't. I'm not coming for anyone or anything like that. I'm just saying what my conversation was like with her. And so, you alluded to, you were not ready to accept the responsibility that we were coming to the end of life stages with Traci. I called you several times, and you would either say you were going to call me back or you were busy or something like that, because I understood that you were having a hard time grasping reality. Finally, you did agree to meet with me, and I came to your home, to you and Traci's home down at the National Harbor. And at that time, Traci did say to me that she didn't want me to see her the way she was, and that it was okay for me to go ahead and meet with you and your sister Sean. And so I basically just reiterated everything that Traci and I had talked about to you, as you're aware, and we carried it out.
That's not my audio either messing up. That's their video. I guess something was going on while they was doing the recording, and you can hear that like skipping, and then you see the video pausing and skipping as well. So just to let y'all know, I can't do anything about that. Sorry.
I think even with the two outfit trace changes, was in pure diva mode. I was all for it because again, I've served many, but well, I'm not going to say many, but several people in the Braxton family as funeral director, and I will continue to do so. I just want people to understand that outside of anything else, I'm gonna make sure I respect someone's wishes, and I hold myself accountable for all my actions.
Well, I would definitely say that you did a wonderful, a beautiful job. I was totally surprised when I saw her. I remember when she started growing her locks, and it was, really in that space when you did what you did with her, and she was absolutely beautiful. And I thank you again, Sheba. And one thing I do know is that you took pride in this process, and you made me feel that from the point of our connection for that. And I wanted it to be known that, Trey made sure that I felt comfortable with the process, even when I wasn't there. Because I didn't want to do it. I promise you I wasn't there. I wasn't giving up. I was in it to fight until I was trying to get her to go to Georgia at the time when you was connected to them to go to the Cancer Institute of America. But again, God had his way with the situation, and I had to get out the way. And I'm glad that he put you in the presence of my journey at that time, because it was very complex and complicated. And
you definitely tell Kevin you were a hard nut to crack. I was when I initially met you, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to bring her off. When I initially met you, I was like, oh man, he does not like me. Like, he does not like me. And that was the sense that I got. But it took me a little bit. It's not that you didn't like me. It's you could not come to grips. So you were sitting next to a funeral director that had, that Traci reached out to you. You were actually talking to a funeral director before your wife passed away.
It was one of the craziest things I ever experienced in my life. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just wasn't. It didn't make sense to me at that time. That's the part.
Right. I get it. I didn't at first. I thought that you had all come to an understanding, and I didn't initially understand it, but it was almost like I came down a couple times to the house, and then we saw each other a few times during for the service, the celebration, the subsequent celebration, and then after that we also saw each other, and I provided you some aftercare information. So it wasn't just that one instance where I met you for the first time. It was a continuance of the relationship that we had started from you as a from me. I'm sorry. To you as the next of kin, because regardless of anything, the husband is the next of kin by legal standards. So I'll just say that.
That's right.
And so that's why I even agreed to talk to do this conversation. I understand the executor of will. I understand all that.
That is absolutely right. The spouse is the next of kin. So I don't know why the family felt like they were supposed to intervene. I could see if she wasn't married, but she was married. So her husband is the next of kin. Her husband and her son has the say so, just like vice versa. If it was their brother and he had a wife, the wife has the final say so. The spouse is the next of kin. Like, I don't understand why they did that. Like, and then that's why I said I'm not having a funeral and stuff like that, because it just be too much. And I don't want all these fake folks around or whatever. Like, if you wasn't celebrating me in the living, don't come try to celebrate me when I pass away. And then they come and they just start mess. Like, I haven't been to a family funeral yet where there has not been any drama or any chaos going on. Like, it's crazy. Like, you supposed to be celebrating the loved one that you lost, but everybody else focus on something else, or this person didn't do this, or you should have did that, or you should have did that. Well, who get this money? Who get that house? Who get this land? Who get that? Child, they do too much. Like it's a battle waiting to happen. Like I don't understand why people do that at funerals. It's not the time or the place, but that's what they do. It be so much drama and chaos around funerals. I'm just like, nope. Put me in the ground immediately. And I may even decide to get cremated. I haven't decided yet, and put my ashes in the ocean. But I know I'm not having a funeral. They could have a memorial service, but my body will not be present. I don't need all that drama and that negativity around me. Let me go in peace, okay?
Talk to her, and she was very, very clear on every decision. I wanted to be my husband and my son to make the final decisions, and so that's why I'm even having this communication,
And I want people to understand that. I mean, honestly, I believe this is totally divine intervention because we hadn't talked in a while, and our contact was made like this is a conversation. We reached out, you talked to me, and you was like, and I didn't prompt the call, you know what I mean? And I really appreciated that because it would give me like what I needed to release. And that's where I'm at. And it makes sense to me right now. So it's beautiful, man. So
God bless.
When I got that
bless
call,
God. Be with him, God.
I just was in a space, and I am in a space of moving where I need to move to. And that's where I'm at. And it makes sense to me. Now, me personally, I wouldn't want it to be, her presence, but it is what it is. So when I got that call, it was like, you got to move forward. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how I took it. And it just makes sense to me. So I've been asking God, make this make sense, man. Even with all the other stuff that's going on, I lived this for 30 years of my life. Half of my life, I lived it. So all I wanted to do was just be able to have the strength and the fortitude to just move in a space where I know I'm going to have, the relief that I need. So this is a part of it, and I thank you. One thing I wanted to clear up, too, was my father-in-law. One thing about my father-in-law, I think when he walked into funeral homes in Baltimore, he's a celebrity. That's just my opinion because he's a pastor and he also been to a lot of different services throughout Baltimore. And you can help me because I'm not a Baltimorean. So when I heard that he wasn't allowed to do certain things and come into certain places, I just thought it was just totally unbelievable. Michael Braxton Sr. can walk into just about any church, any place, and he's going to be greeted on almost the same level. That's my opinion because I've been in places with him. Now, a service for his daughter, can't nobody turn that man around.
Not at all. No. I don't know where that narrative came from. I'm not sure where it happened there, but Uncle Mike, I'm sorry. It's from a long time ago. I called him Uncle Michael, but that he was let in. I mean, that we had a list that you were very methodical as far as the people that were let in, and of course he was at the top of the list. In fact, and so I don't know where that narrative came from that he wasn't allowed in. I also heard about something about ticket sales, which was also not true. That was the church. They had a whole production crew, remember? And I remember being at Traci's celebration, and it felt like a gospel concert. It was beyond anything I had ever experienced before. I'm not even kidding. Even being in the business this long, it was so beautiful. Both of the tributes were beautiful, the visitation and also that celebration. But the reason that we had to have people go online was to keep account of the heads that would be in attendance. We weren't charged. No one was charging anything. I really didn't have anything to do with that part outside of bringing Traci and the urn back down to the church. But the church did that part on their website. and they wanted a head count. And so they asked people to go online and RSVP. There was no cost associated with it.
Now, first and foremost, that church itself, my sister's church, and that pastor, it's no way in the world he would allow something to exist like that. No way, and I wouldn't. So it wouldn't even have got to that point with me. One thing about Traci, we celebrated our birthdays almost every year. Like, she gave me a big 50th birthday. So if people that knew us knew that we had birthday parties and birthday celebrations throughout our togetherness. So one thing I was not going to do is not celebrate her. It was a rumor. A rumor was put out to just have something like they had with Lauren. There was no way in the world I was going to celebrate my wife in the way that our niece was celebrated at all. I'm not that guy. Because I know how we lived. I knew her. I knew her spirit. I knew every ounce of her being. And I was not going to allow no one to influence me to have my wife's celebration on that level at all. And it was understood by me and my son. And that was it. And so I was going to protect my in-laws, so no one was going to come up into that funeral homes, church service, and just be all, like they had a concert or something like that. That wasn't going to happen. I had security. I had things set up, and you helped us set things up, at our last viewing. I just wanted to clear this up and let people know it's no way in God's given love that I would do her like that in that innocent state of hers. And you as a director was not going to be a part of that. So I really appreciate this right here because it's sad.
It's sad. All of that went on, and I hate that for him. You can see that he's still mourning the loss of his wife. And he's going to, she's not with him anymore. And I hate that they made him feel that way. Like he couldn't even celebrate her in peace. You know what I'm saying? Like the way that they wanted to, because the sisters and the mom was causing havoc and wreaking havoc and just being ugly for no reason, and then they, even after the fact, they oust him. They have nothing to do with him. Then it's like they almost like trying to turn her son against him now. And I know you guys probably seen that video where Kevin Sr. and Kevin Jr. had an altercation. I didn't even put that on my channel because I'm not going to put that now. Yeah, I talked about Trina's husband being disrespectful because that's a whole different thing. But far as like family stuff, like intimate family stuff with a father and a son or a mother and a daughter or something like that, yeah, I'm not putting that on my channel or whatever. But the way they recorded it, it was like recorded, I think like off of a Ring camera, some type of camera that was on the outside of the house. But when they put it out there, they tried to make it seem like it was a recent video. That video was old. That was an old video from like when Traci first passed away. Yes, some things were said that shouldn't have been said, but by the time they uploaded that, Kevin Sr. and Kevin Jr. had forgiven each other and moved past that. And they spoke on it. They did speak on it on another interview, but like I said, I didn't mention anything about it because I didn't want to bring that to the channel. If y'all want to see it, it's out there somewhere or whatever, but I didn't feel a need to. And then when you find out that Tawanda was the one that released that video, like just being evil for no reason. Let this man and his son grieve the loss of their mother and his wife. Like this is crazy. It's just so crazy. And I just pray for him and I pray for his son. I pray that God keep his love and protection and guidance and strength with them because they truly need it. His son dealing with a lot. He lost his mom. Then he going through a divorce. It's so much for the young man. And it's so much for his dad as well. So I just pray for strength. I just ask God to give them strength and be with them and let them be there for one another and not let others come in and rip them apart. Just using different things to tear them apart. So thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure again that you like, the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification for all so that you never miss an upload. Kevin Siratt has other interviews, and he do have, I believe this interview as well is on, what's the channel name? Urban Smart Network. So you guys can see his other videos. He got different videos where he speak about stuff. He's been interviewing with Urban Smart Network. I'll link their channel in the description below, so make sure y'all go over there and check that out as well, and subscribe to their channel also. Thank you again for watching, and like we say before we always leave, love, peace, and hair grease. Smooches. Have a wonderfully blessed day, you guys. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Oh, and just another thing I wanted to add. He also have an interview that he did, an exclusive interview with Cheryl's World. So I will put her link to her interview in the description down below if y'all want to check that out. All right, you guys. This is the end for real this time. Love, peace, and hair grease. Smooches. Mwah. We're out. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching.